Have you ever really thought about your back teeth? Why they're so different from the ones up front? They're not sharp or designed for cutting. They're these big, broad, bumpy things. Well, today we're going to dive deep into the incredible world of molar anatomy and figure out exactly why these teeth are the absolute powerhouses of your mouth. Let's get into it. Here's what we've got on the agenda. We'll start with the basics. What even are molars? Then we'll get into the specifics of your upper and lower molars. After that, we'll put them side by side to really nail down the differences. And finally, we'll talk about why any of this anatomy actually matters for your health. All right, so first things first. What exactly are we talking about when we say molars? Go ahead, you can feel them with your tongue. They're those big, sturdy teeth way at the back of your mouth. Think of them as the heavy machinery for your food. Now, in the dental world, molars are called distal teeth. That's really just a fancy way of saying they're the ones furthest away from the middle of your smile. And they're back there for a very good reason. While your front teeth, your incisors, are for slicing, the molars have one main job: to crush and grind your food into mush before you swallow. So how many do we have? Well, a typical adult has a full dozen, 12 of them. That's 3 in each corner of your mouth: upper right, upper left, and lower left. And yep, this number includes your wisdom teeth, which are technically your third molars. All the real action happens on what's called the occlusal surface. That's just the top, chewing part of the tooth. The best way to think about it is like a little mortar and pestle. The high points, those bumps, are called cusps. They do all the crushing. And the little valleys in between, those are called grooves, and they help guide the food while you chew. Not even close. You might think a molar is just a molar, but the truth is, the molars in your upper jaw are built completely differently than the ones in your lower jaw. Each one is a specialist for its job. Let's find out how. Okay, let's start up top with the maxillary molars. Maxillary is just the technical term for your upper jaw. To keep it simple, we're going to focus mostly on the first maxillary molar because it's the textbook example for this whole group. So let's zoom in on this star player. Just looking at its basic design, you can tell this thing is built for serious strength. It's anchored by not 1, not 2, but 3 roots, and its top surface is anything but flat. But the real secrets, the things that make it unique, are in the details we're about to see. Here's the view from the top. You can clearly see 4 main bumps, or cusps, doing all the heavy lifting. But look a little closer, on the side that faces your tongue. See that extra little bump right there? That has a name, the cusp of Carabelli. It's a super interesting genetic trait that not everyone has, kind of like a dental fingerprint. It doesn't really do much, but if you see it, it's a dead giveaway that you are looking at an upper molar. Now here's another key feature. Do you see that strong diagonal line cutting right across the surface? It connects 2 of the main cusps. That's called the oblique ridge. Think of it like a structural reinforcement beam, adding incredible strength for grinding tough foods. Honestly, this ridge is the single most important thing to remember. If you see an oblique ridge, it's an upper molar. End of story. So all those grooves are great for grinding, right? Well, here's the trade-off. Where all those grooves meet in the middle, you get the deepest point, called the central pit. It's the absolute perfect hiding spot for tiny food particles and bacteria. And that is exactly why molars are so often the first place cavities decide to move in. Okay, time to head downstairs to the lower jaw, or the mandible, and meet the mandibular molars. These guys are the real workhorses. They're designed to take the full force of your bite. And guess what? They have a completely different blueprint. The first mandibular molar is just built for pure power. Instead of 3 roots, it has 2 absolutely massive ones. Its grinding surface usually has 5 cusps, not 4, which gives its top a really distinct 5-sided pentagonal shape. And that oblique ridge we just talked about? Nope, you will not find one here. Let's break this down. First, notice the roots. Instead of 3, you've got 2 huge roots, giving it a rock-solid foundation. Now look at the top. Go ahead and count the cusps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You'll see 3 lined up on the cheek side and 2 on the tongue side. That 5th, smaller cusp at the very back is called the distal cusp, and it's a classic feature of this tooth. And here's where it gets really interesting. This specific tooth, the first one on the bottom, is a huge milestone in growing up. It's usually the very first permanent tooth to pop up in a child's mouth, right around age 6. That's why dentists have a nickname for it, the 6-year molar. Now, its next-door neighbor, the second lower molar, is a little bit simpler. It usually just has 4 cusps, and the grooves between them form a really clear cross or a plus sign shape right in the middle. This makes it one of the easiest molars to identify.
So, we looked at the uppers and the lowers separately. Now for the fun part. Let's put them side by side to really lock in those differences so you can spot them anywhere.
Okay, let's boil it all down. To tell an upper molar from a lower one, you really just need a simple 3-point checklist. First, roots. 3 for an upper, 2 for a lower. Easy. Second, shape. Upper molars are generally more square, while lowers are more rectangular. And third, the ultimate giveaway. Look for that diagonal oblique ridge. If you see it, it's an upper. No ridge, it's a lower. It's that simple.
Let's put that checklist to the test right now. On the left, you've got that squarish upper molar. See its 3 roots? And there's that unmistakable oblique ridge. Now on the right, you have the rectangular lower molar. 2 powerful roots and no ridge in sight. The differences are pretty striking when you see them together, aren't they?
So we've gone deep, deep into the anatomy. But what's the point of all this detail? Well, this intricate design directly impacts everything, from how well you chew your food to your chances of getting a cavity.
So let's quickly recap the most important points. 1. Molars are your body's grinders, period. 2. Upper molars are easy to spot with their 3 roots and that special oblique ridge. 3. Lower molars usually have 2 roots and often 5 cusps. And 4, and this is a big one, that same complex design that makes them amazing at their job also makes them a prime target for cavities. When you really step back and look at it, molar anatomy is just a masterpiece of natural engineering. Every single cusp, every ridge, every little groove has a specific purpose. They all work together in perfect harmony to create this powerful, efficient grinding machine right inside your own mouth. It's pretty incredible. And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. This powerful, complex design is really a double-edged sword. It's perfectly built for its function, but that very same complexity creates weak spots. It's this fascinating trade-off between power and protection that plays out in all of our mouths every single day.